Well, hello everyone, Director Doug here, and once again, you get the opportunity to meet one of the actors that plays a character on Discovery Mountain. And the character we're going to be talking to today is our resident explosives guy. He's the guy that knocks things over and demolishes buildings, the one and only John Harris, Judah's dad. And John Harris is played by Joel Baker. And we're going to be interviewing him today and finding out what he's like in his real life. And so Steve and Jean have a list of questions for him, and you'll find out a lot about him today. Go ahead, guys.
Thanks, Director Doug. And thanks, Joel. You are no stranger to hanging out with us during production, but you're normally in the control room, and we've now put you on the hot seat behind the mic.
Yeah, a little different here, different position.
Yeah.
So, speaking of different location, what is your regular job?
Yeah, so I'm the associate media director at the Voice of Prophecy. So I get to work right here where Discovery Mountain happens. I do a lot of different things, though, besides helping with Discovery Mountain. We have been building a studio here for the Voice of Prophecy. I do a lot of video editing and pretty much anything the ministry needs that I can assist the director with of our media department that's related to media. So, yeah, it's quite a long list of the little things and the big things that I get to work on here. But it's a lot of fun, and I definitely enjoy the times I get to work with Discovery Mountain and come down here and work with all the actors and the media down here.
Well, and in fact, Joel, we're in the video studio right now, producer Steve and I, and we're in these we created little audio studios within the video studio, which is, how we're kind of maintaining our social distancing for recording. And yeah, your department, the media department, did a fantastic job in 2020 of creating this beautiful video studio. And thanks for all your hard work on that.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun. It really worked out. 2020 didn't go the way any of us thought it would.
Right.
But that change really opened up some time to get down there and transform, what a storage room when I got here.
Right.
Into a studio. So it's been a lot of fun.
And it looks awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really does.
A lot of help.
Really
And it wasn't just me. A lot of us.
Team
we all,
effort.
we all pitched in.
And I haven't had a chance to see it in person yet because ever since this whole thing broke, and even now as we're having this conversation, I'm up in Canada near Toronto, and you guys are all down in Loveland, and Joel sends me pictures every once in a while of their progress, and it looks amazing. I can hardly wait to get back down there and see it in person.
Yeah, you'll be impressed, Director Doug. You will.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to Director Doug directing maybe some things in our new studio.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Live up to your title there.
Yes.
Right. Right. Love it. So, Joel, we've gotten to know your character, John Harris. Let's see. We met him in season 4, which was the story of Esther. And, that's when we met Madam Manager. And, you were working for Billsby Builders doing explosives. So we've also gotten to know a bit more since then about your family, you and your I was going to say on screen, but what do you say for audio? Your in the drama wife. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. But, but anyway, with Michelle Harris, who runs the cafe. So tell us a bit about how you are similar and different from John Harris.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun being John Harris. And Michelle, just as some background information, I think we met. I worked with her brother years and years ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so Michelle and I knew each other. We probably met each other in like 2004. So we've been friends for a long time. But yeah, it was a little different part to play someone going through that situation in their relationship. So I think as far as the similarities or the things I like, it's all what guy doesn't want to be involved with blowing things up,
And kidding.
I wouldn't describe myself as a huge pyrotechnic here, but I definitely had experiences at Academy. When I was 17, lighting some gas on fire in the workshop and, typical boy stuff that, intrigued me. But yeah, as far as the other things, it's been interesting to play a character going through what he has. I think, I personally try to go the opposite in my real life. I want a happy marriage and happy kids and
Sure.
Relationship with the Lord makes such a difference. And I'm, hopefully John, my character, will see that. Who knows what the future brings for him here in Discovery Mountain? But those are some of the similarities and differences, I guess.
Awesome. So, what is your favorite food?
You know what? I like, everyone thinks pizza, and I do like pizza, as well as do most of the guys I work with, by the way, down here. But I think I'd say tacos. I really like eating out and having tacos, but I really enjoy making them at home. I don't know why. I did it yesterday. It's just
So do we.
Oh, they're
delicious.
There's a theme. I think Producer Steve, we're going to have to change this question. We're going to now start saying, besides pizza, what is your favorite food?
Well, I had both of those things yesterday, so that works. I mean,
Yeah.
You know what we need? We need a Discovery Mountain cookbook.
Oh, that
Like
would
all
be
the
fun.
characters have
That
all
is.
said what their favorite foods are or whatever. I think Chase Rodriguez was in a while back. He plays Ben, and he had, there was some squash
Sweet potato
thing. I think
pie
it was sweet
or
potato.
something.
That was it.
Yeah, that's right.
I had dirty bean soup, which people
right.
said,
That's
"What?"
right.
Yeah.
So
It's a great idea.
So I think there's some unique things that we could probably throw together and have even a downloadable Discovery Mountain cookbook, right?
There's a little problem with that, though, I think, Director Doug, which is
What's that?
if we included Jake's favorite recipes, we'd have to have, a whole volume just for that.
we'd have to have a whole tablet we'd have to send people.
Right.
You have your regular book, and then you have chapter,
Yeah.
chapter Jake. There you go.
No, I like that idea. That's great. Joel, I know that you've had various positions within what you do, which is in media, but you've primarily worked for serving God as part of what you've done, and I know that's an important part of why you do what you do. We've talked about that. So can you share with us what a favorite verse in the Bible is of yours?
I've always liked a verse in Micah. And I think it's changed meanings for me over time, and maybe that's true for a lot of us. A favorite Bible scripture might mean one thing to us as a child or a young adult, and then as we grow older and have different life experiences, we read more into it. But in Micah chapter 7, it's going on in the beginning of the chapter, and it's kind of talking about the tough world we live in, and it's talking about, corruption in politics. It's talking about friends that go behind your back and how it's hard to find an upright person or man or woman. It's talking about, strife in the home, in the family, in the workplace. And then it goes on in verse 7 there, and it says, Therefore, because of all this, I will look unto the Lord, and I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. And then he's kind of talking directly to our archenemy here, the devil. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. So, it's really light at the end of the tunnel, despite everything going on in the world, and that takes us down. It's a promise that the Lord is always a light to us. And even when we sit in darkness, he's there. And I think, especially for the times we're living in now, this has been a comfort to me. And I first heard this as a child when I was listening to a dramatization. This is interesting because it was kind of similar to what we do here at Discovery Mountain, but it was a dramatization of the Pilgrim's Progress.
Oh, really?
And
Interesting.
this
Whoa.
is something Christian said to I forgot the character's name that came to him in the valley, but it was kind of a dragon that came to him and was saying all these things that were putting him down, and he repeated this, and that's when I clung to that verse, and it became my favorite Bible verse.
Aw, Oh, that's awesome. I love the connection with you hearing that in an audio format, and then that just stuck with you all these years. That's really inspiring.
Because of an audio drama.
Right.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah.
Very cool. So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I think I remember when I was probably 6 being asked that question. And of course, it was one of the, normal answers that a 6-year-old would give.
Oh, yeah.
I think I wanted to be a fireman. But, as I grew a little older, I think quite young, I was one of those guys that was always watching the media guys in the back of the church do the audio recording or running it. And even at the age of 11, I was using my grandfather's camcorder to volunteer and record all the sermons at our local church, and pretty soon everyone was asking me for copies, and I turned it into a little business.
Oh, that's great.
Selling the tapes and things for, I think it was just, at face value, but it was good. It was a start, and, it just went from there. The Lord continued to direct me in my life, and eventually led me into media, which I've done for my whole career. So, very early on, I was interested in media. So that's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Oh, that's awesome. Joel, tell us about the pets that you and your wife and your 2 daughters have in your home.
When my wife and I were married, I think a year after we were married, we had no children, and we used to have this cemetery near our house, and it was great for walking. I don't know if any of you have ever taken walks in a cemetery, but it's it's a good place to exercise. It's quiet, and this little kitty followed us home one day, and we didn't feed it right away because we didn't know whose it was, but that cat is now approaching elderly age. I think he's probably 10 or 11 now, but so that was a long time ago, and he was just a little kitten when we got him. So we have him, and of course now we have 2 young girls in our home, and they enjoy him. And then the most recent addition, Gene, this is thanks to you, but we were over at your house when we were filming something in your living room not long ago, and Sean, in a side comment, mentioned that your daughter had gone to college, and he was no longer feeling like you guys needed the mouse in the house.
Right.
And so I didn't say anything, but I went home and told my wife, and she said, that would be fun. Why don't you tell the Boonstras that we'll take it if they don't want it anymore. So we call him Mousy.
Mousy, that's cute.
Yeah, little mouse that the girls are very protective over, and our cat is very interested in. And
I'm sure the cat's interested.
Yes, and they are always, every day worried where the cat is. Daddy, where's the cat? Is he near the mouse? And they don't want the cat to eat their mouse.
And so far, they've coexisted peacefully, haven't they? The mouse and the cat.
Yeah, the cage you had the mouse in has got pretty tight bars there, so he can't. He's a very fat cat. And,
okay. Can't get his paw through.
He can't get those chubby paws through there. So.
Well, and of course, the mouse was Naomi's mouse, and she was so thrilled to know that her mouse now lives with you guys and your daughters, and he's getting lots more attention than he would have gotten when he was still at home just with Sean and I. So it was a win-win.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what do you like to do when you have free time?
Well, like Chase said in his interview, it's all of us. Yeah, we don't. What's free time, right? But
right.
Yeah, I think I enjoy, well, for a while now, and before I came to VOP, I really got into, we all like road trips, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids like road trips and seeing different things. And, the road can get kind of long sometimes. So it's always fun to get out and see something exciting, after you've been driving a long time. And in some towns and places along the roadside are really cool tourist attractions, big dinosaurs or big giants or statues you can see. And years ago, I really got an interest. I like to research them and read all about them and visit all these cool places, the world's largest ball of twine or, whatever it was. And so I've been into that kind of stuff for a long time. And that eventually led into, every once in a while in free time, I'll try to restore some of these old fiberglass Paul Bunyan giants or things like that. So that's kind of my side hobby and something I enjoy doing.
And I think you're being extremely humble, Joel, in that description of your hobby, because your hobby,
Yes.
you have restored lots of those giants, and it's really, really cool, the work that you have. And I know you work with people who maybe do the actual artistry of restoring them and painting them, but you actually will research and hunt down these giants and rescue them from northern Canada. Didn't you take a trip up
went
to
to
Edmonton
Yeah.
once?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll rescue them and bring, where do you find them? Do people just have them like in their backyards and
You never know.
All over the
it's,
place?
It's like a treasure hunt. It's like looking for treasure for me, and they're big, they're like 20 feet tall giants. So you wouldn't think they'd be hard to find, but they were made in the 60s, so they're getting old, and a lot of them are, stored in people's barns or out in a field. And so it just takes a lot of research and talking to a lot of people, and then you get these tips like that one I got, and that was up in Edmonton, and next thing you know, I'm driving 20 hours to rescue this thing. This is in pieces.
it's amazing.
And brought it all the way back to Colorado, found the right person that could restore it, and now that he looks brand new, he's beautiful, he's in Wisconsin at a
Really?
little diner, like an old 1960s diner, and
Yeah.
he stands there holding a hot dog and a milkshake. So
Oh, that's so
it's
great. I
fun.
love it.
It's fun. Very rewarding.
I managed to go on one of these little treasure hunts with you about a year and a half ago when we were in Boston shooting something
That's
else
right.
for the
Oh,
VOP.
that's right.
Yeah.
And my flight was leaving at 6 p.m. or something. And the rest of you, I think, were saying another day. But I had about 4 or 5 hours between, till my flight. And Joel says, hey, I got a line on this statue in some junkyard somewhere. So we hopped in the car and cruising up and down this little country road trying to spot this thing. And he goes, there it is. We come running over to the fence and kind of peering through the fence, taking pictures, trying to figure out what type of statue it was. And then I guess you tried to make contact with the individual who owned it. And there's all that investigation. But yeah, it truly was like a Indiana Jones treasure hunt sort of thing. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think that's the intrigue, you just never know what you're going to find. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun, Doug. I remember that. And you got to, kind of experience what I do in my free time.
In your free time.
That's right. In your free time.
It's a great hobby, and it's fascinating, Joel. I always love hearing about what you're up to when you're doing that.
Oh, yeah. And isn't that what brought along the idea for the Jake statues?
Yes,
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
Yeah, I have a lot of connections. I've met a lot of people through doing this. So I knew somebody that could make little statues, little miniatures, and we showed him a picture of Jake, and he delivered almost a identical likeness, very very pretty close, and we had a bunch of those made. And haven't you guys? Some kids have won some of those,
They
right?
Yes.
have. They
That's right.
have.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're not sure what we're talking about, if you look on any of our social media feeds, and it, depending on when you listen to this, you may have to scroll back a ways, but you'll see at least one picture with one of our winners holding one of the little Jake statues, and they are amazing. They're
They
really
are.
cute. Right. All right, Joel, last question for you. If Discovery Mountain were a real place and you could visit, what would you like to do?
Oh, probably go on an airplane ride. I don't know if I want Jake flying.
So you have Bonnie Rawlings, right?
Sure, anybody
Yeah,
else.
that would work.
Well, she's the only one that's actually crashed, though,
Oh,
in a
so you
Discovery
want-
Mountain story.
Well, that's true.
That's true. Maybe I should stick with
George. Yep.
George Simon.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Tried and true. Yes. Well, that's great. Well, Joel, always fun working with you. We appreciate the expertise you bring to the program. We appreciate you're just a fun person to work with. And thanks for sharing a bit more about the person behind John Harris's voice.
No problem. Happy to be here.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy getting to learn a little bit more about John Harris. And I want to share with you the verse that Joel shared with us because it's beautiful. And I think it's so applicable to today's day and age because we do have some of the same challenges in our lives that are described here in Micah. But here's the hope. And it's Micah 7, verses 7 and 8. And it says, "Therefore I will look to the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Do not rejoice over me, my enemy. When I fall, I will arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord will be a light to me." And so I just invite you to allow God to be a light for you in your life. So thank you for listening. We'll see you here again next time.